So here, as promised, is a quick rundown of my mix of circles, and we'll start with the piano. There I have some saturation and equalization going on. We'll go through them one on one. The first is soft tubes, harmonic saturation processor, set to transformer simulation, and then added some drive, and the character decides where in the frequency spectrum the saturation is most pronounced. The more high-endy it gets. I'm also using the dynamics processor. That's some sort of combination of a compressor and a transient designer of some sort. I'm touching it very gently with that. It's a very subtle process. So I'm going to turn it on and off here a few times. When it's yellow here, it's on. It mostly raises the volume, so it's hard to tell what it's doing. After that one, I have the EQ8, which is an Ableton standard plugin. I've turned on oversampling on this. It eats a lot of processing, but there's not many tracks, so it's fine for this one. Here I'm doing quite a bit of low cutting with a very gentle slope. So gentle I had to boost it around 120 Hz because the slope was too long otherwise. Then I'm cutting at about around 730 Hz slightly to fit the vocal a bit better. And then at 2.4 kHz I have a high shelf boost, slight, and then at 7 kHz I have a band shelf with a wide Q boosting about 0.9. As you can hear, also very subtle. Then I've used the neutron equalizer from Isotope. The second band here is a cut for a resonance I was hearing. That annoyed me slightly. I don't know if it's the room or if it's the piano itself creating the resonance, but and then I have a dynamic band shelf here, centered on 370 and quite wide. And this is the transient was slightly ugly there, but I really wanted it in the sustain of the piano. So I went for a dynamic and was very careful to set up the threshold for it. I can show how thin it gets if it's on all the time. So now it sounds horrible comparatively. It made the transients a bit more low end and a bit more high end. So I just found it sounding with less MIDI and colliding less with the vocal. Together, if we turn on and off all three, they make quite a bit of a difference. Then next we have effect chains. I'm using the audio effect rack that's in Ableton, which creates parallel chains. So I can run up to 128 parallel processes on the same track. It's quite a nifty function. First we have the dry signal going through. Then I have a Valhalla Room reverb. We can solo that. It's based on the dark piano preset that's in Valhalla Room. They are correct in naming it Dark Piano Hall because it works great on a piano. The next effect is Universal Audio's Dimension D, which is apparently, according to the manual, not associated with the Roland Dimension D at all, except that they look exactly the same and sound very close. I think it's a very nice chorus for this, and also it adds some width to the piano. Since it's a mono track, I needed to get it to fill the stereo field a bit more. It's mixed in quite low beneath. And then I have what I think gives the piano most of its character in the mix. I have an echo or a delay. It's a quarter note echo with some feedback. At the input stage, it cuts everything below 132 and everything above 1.5, and I have added some resonance here, so there's a peak. This curve is not as flat, so it accentuates frequencies in this area a bit. Can solo that. I've also made sure that the sides are not exactly in sync with each other, and I'm also modulating the delay time slightly. Also added some wobble that simulates tape delays, having problem with keeping constant speed. Also have some ducking on here, but I think that's just in my preset for this echo. So, and then there's a bit of reverb on post the echo. This is the built-in reverb. It sounds fine for this application, not from many others. But this delay and this echo creates a very nice warm feeling to the piano because of this filter hump here. And you can send this echo into self-oscillation if you want to. That's the complete piano chain. Nothing much more happening here. And then on the master bus, I have another Pultec simulation, Universal Audio. And then this is doing nothing. I'm just using this because they emulate the input and output stages, so it adds a bit of grit. Then I have a Fairchild 670 emulation.
This is the last time my heart sings of you.
It almost doing nothing. It's mostly added tube distortion or saturation. And then I have the soft tube tape plugin that's doing most of the compression.
This is the last time.
I'm hitting that plugin quite hard, and I feel that it's a very good gluing plugin.
This is the last time my heart sings of you. Or so I am convinced, until I hear the blues.
It really does something very nice. And then before I rendered it, I added a few limiters to just get it up to enough of a level so it doesn't get turned down by streaming services, which is what I normally aim for in the end when I'm doing my own in quotes, mastering. So I have a bit of EQ. That's very small amounts going on. And I'm using the Ozone Vintage limiter for doing the most part of the limiting. And then I'm running the maximizer. Well, it does 0.5. It's just to keep it from peaking. And that's all. Thank you for watching.